So this question is related to, or similar to a core practical you will have done. So we're trying to do a neutralization reaction, and it wants to ask what should happen after step 2 to make sure it's reacted completely. What you would do here is you would swirl or stir the chemicals. Swirl or stir the chemicals to help them to react. Complete the word equation. So here we have got an acid and we have got a base. Remember, in the general equation, this makes a metal salt and water. So the metal salt is going to be calcium as the metal, and because it's hydrochloric, we will get calcium chloride, and then we also get water produced. There's going to be 1 mark for each of those two. State symbols in here, so it tells us the powdered calcium hydroxide, so that's going to be a solid, and this is aqueous because it's a solution, so the only option there is option C. Then we're down to here. So part D, this is a neutralization graph, and it always has this characteristic S shape to show the change in pH. And it says give the pH at start experiment. So if we come down here, this is the pH at the start, and that's got a value of 1. How much is required to make it neutral? So neutral means its pH is 7. So if we come along from 7, and I always advise you to draw lines on your graph so that you are going to get this correctamundo. And you can see here that's going to be 7.4. So my answer for this one is 7.4 grams to make it neutral. Oh, sorry, 0.74. Just looking at the scale there. Ooh, where's the rubber gone? 0.74 because it's okay. And then explain why it starts off at a low pH and ends up at a high pH. So it's low pH at the beginning is because we have got a high concentration of H plus ions. So we've only got H plus ions, which is going to make it acidic. And then I would mention the neutral point. So at pH 7, what's special here is that the concentration of H plus and OH minus are equal. Okay, and then it goes to a high pH. Why does it go to a high pH? So I'm going to say here that the pH becomes higher because there are more OH minus ions than H plus ions, and that makes it become alkali. So in terms of marks, 1 mark for saying that it's H plus at the beginning, 1 mark for saying that they are H plus are equal, and then 1 mark for saying we get extra OH minus ions at the end. State what should be used to measure the pH in here. So if you're doing this experiment, you would use a pH meter or pH probe, pH meter, pH probe, and then calcium hydroxide is corrosive to the eyes and skin. Describe what you would do. So here you would wear safety glasses or safety goggles to do this. You've got to put gloves down, but you need 1 answer.